Hi, this is Reverend Rick McCain from the Let's Stay Together radio show, and this is our after show. What a great topic, a powerful topic. The person who loves me is hurting me. So we've got our guests here. We're going to be talking about some of the questions that we were not able to answer on air. And you were talking about something about how difficult, how easy it was for that person to make their first call, and you were telling us about how you was able to make that call. So can you explain that a little bit more to us?
Yes, coming up with the idea of making the call takes a long time, but once you finally make that call and you hear another person on the voice, you hear another person on the phone that's asking you what kind of situation you're in, who all is involved. They ask you about your kids. They ask you because they have a place for you temporarily for lodging. They have a way for you to get to and from work. These are the questions that they're asking about when they're in a domestic relationship. Well, how am I going to get to work? He's got the car. How am I gonna afford to stay in my place? There are places and there are people who are willing to help you. And sometimes it's as simple as just reaching out and asking, because someone would never know that I was in a relationship, a marriage for almost 6 years that I was so unhappy with. But if you just reach out and ask, you'll be surprised and relieved that somebody else has gone through it and now has hope that can help you.
Yeah, and you know, we talked about that a little bit, but I wanted to also talk about the man's perspective. I'm the man that's the abuser. I need someone to speak to him as well, because we always help the woman out, but how do we help that man that's abusing someone to stop abusing that individual? I know that's a tough one, but I need that man to also know that he can get help as well, because if you help the woman and not the other person, and that person unfortunately has to go back, then you haven't really helped the situation at all. So someone talk to me about that.
Let me first say that any man that is doing that, recognize and realize where that behavior is coming from. It's not the person that you're abusing. It's not her. There is something else. There is something else that's going on that's causing you to do that. Part of that behavior is learned. You learn that. And if you learn something, you can also unlearn something. Another thing is that the person that you're abusing, if you really do love, see, I can't say whether or not you love them, but if you really do love them, realize what you're doing. What you're doing is not just you're controlling them. You're altering the course of their life and the lives of the children that are in the home. Amen. You are changing a family dynamic. You are causing that dynamic to really turn into something that's it's the status quo. It's, you know, every black family is like that, or every abusive family. That is not true. It's not true. Look at what you're doing. Really look at yourself and ask yourself the question. Why am I really doing this? Why am I really beating her? Why am I really causing her not to be with her friends? Why am I holding her back? Why am I taking them? Why am I really doing that? And if you really ask yourself that question, you'll come up with only one answer. There's something else going on. And you can be a better man. You can be a better person if you ask yourself the question and move back from it. Because what you're doing is not just something that's helping you, it's hurting other people.
Mm-hmm. Okay, someone else talk about this. This is the only thing here.
I would add that, as you said, it is a learned behavior. Violence is absolutely a learned behavior, and it can be unlearned. And being in a healthy relationship is something that some people need to learn. Those are skills that perhaps haven't been modeled in a young man's life. Children who grow up witnessing abuse, if it's all they know, it's the only behavior they model, and that's the only way they know how to be in a relationship. So there are great programs for helping perpetrators learn how to be in a shared, safe relationship based on trust and respect. And South Suburban Family Shelter and many other organizations have programs for this relearning program. South Suburban Family Shelter has a program for the perpetrators, and it's a 30-week program, and we actually call it a relearning program because you're relearning how to be in a healthy respectful relationship.
Yeah.
For information
Yeah.
about that, people can call 708-798-7737. And they can ask about the Perpetrator Relearning Program.
Can
Now,
I speak
go ahead.
to adults who grew up in abusive relationships like myself? Most of us grow up and there are things that happen because we grew up in an abusive relationship. We have low self-esteem, we have low self-confidence, and all of that translates into our children. It translates into our community because we don't have trust and faith in ourselves. And it's because of how we grew up. You can live a successful, fulfilling life after domestic violence.
Amen.
You can. You are worthy, and for women who are wondering whether or not they should get out of it, ask yourself this question: am I worth it? I'll tell you, yes, you are absolutely worth it. You can live life after domestic violence. You can live a successful, fulfilling life. If I can speak about the Duncan approach,
Go ahead.
is based on Jeremiah 29:11.
No, we're talking
God
about the Bible.
has an absolute plan for your life.
Amen.
And the Duncan approach is a unwavering belief in that plan. And I believe that sharing is caring. I believe that we share our stories in order for you not to say, I wish I knew then what I know now. Because we're telling you.
Yeah.
We're telling you. And we're sharing our stories. I believe wholeheartedly in that. And I am hosting a workshop. It is passionate for me because so many of us grow up thinking that we're not worthy, and that is just so untrue. I'm hosting a workshop to help you overcome your past on May 31st, and you can contact Brenda McCain. I'll leave the information with her.
And we'll definitely have it on the Facebook page as well. Definitely.
You can overcome your past and walk in the destiny that God has for you. You absolutely can.
Amen.
I have something to say on that. Vicky and Sylvia, and as well as Lady C and Crystal spoke on some great things, but I'm going to do the opposite here. It's been some well-documented cases out there, celebrity cases. I want all those women who just love their lifestyle that they're living in. They'll take the abuse because they got the bling-bling, the money, the nice car, and they'll deal with everything. But if you know the cases, I'm not going to say the name, well-documented cases in the past, that a woman was murdered because of that. I mean, is it worth staying in something because you like your lifestyle and he's beating you for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but you're okay with that? You got your finger up, baby? What I'm saying wrong? Oh, okay. Well, anyway.
She said, keep on going.
Okay.
Just keep talking.
The lifestyle, it's just, you're worth so much more than that. I'd rather be dirt poor and happy and have peace than to be out, oh, I look good, my hair done, my face day, I got this, but you can't walk. Your insides are bruised. I know of a case of a lady got so beaten so bad she can't have children at all, but she won't leave this guy. And it's so bad to me. It's like, what? I don't understand it. That's not my truth. It's others' truth, but I can relate to that. And it aggravates me to know that these beautiful women here are sharing a story to let you know you can get help and you need help. And we're here to help you.
Hey, I want to talk about one thing that we haven't talked about on the show. Tracy, you're raising your hand for something, girl. Stop raising your hand.
What's going on? Did you get what I just said?
Are we still taping? Okay, great. You know what? Me and Vicki were talking about this a little bit. There's so many shelters out there, but you don't have the finance to help some of these women. And for that reason, they're going back into the abusive relationship because of the finances. I'm not going to ask you why don't we have the finance, because you probably say you don't know. But what can we tell a young lady who reached out for help, but the shelter or she couldn't find that because of economic or financial things stopped her? Does that happen, and what can she do if that situation comes to pass?
Well, we're talking about two different things. I think that sometimes women stay in relationships because they're financially dependent and they're afraid to leave because, you know, they may have kids, they may live in this nice house, they have no place to go, so they're financially dependent. They have low self-esteem, they feel like they have no job skills